So get that notification now. And we are so happy that you are here. If you have not done so already, please post in the chat where you are coming from, and we will get started. So today we are talking about the importance of work-life balance, everyday efficiency, how you can make your everyday lives more efficient. So throughout the webinar, please use the chat feature to ask any questions or provide any comments, feedback that you have. We've got the rest of the team here monitoring the chat while each person is speaking. So we'll try to answer your questions, and then we'll go through at the end and have time for questions. And we will be sending out the slide deck, so you have access to every document, link, article, all the content you'll have access to. And we want to emphasize that work-life balance is going to look different for everybody, no matter where you're coming from, where you're listening to, what stage of your career you're in, how many kids you have at home, how many no kids you have at home. And it's important that you understand that this isn't a one size kind of fits all sort of webinar. What's going to work for Susie may not work for you. What works for Kyle may not work for you, and that's okay. We hope that you can get a few tidbits, tricks, a few things to try and to implement those into your life to see if that helps make your lives more efficient.
Thank you, Anna. So my name is Laura Heyman. I've been with Medtronic here for 1.5 years. And today I'll be discussing cultivating healthy boundaries at work, and then also talking about taking time off and what that means for you and how important that is.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kyle. I've been at Medtronic for 2 years now. And today I'll be talking to you about 2 different methods of productivity.
Hi, everyone. My name is Susie. I get to talk to you about stress reduction today. I've also been with Medtronic for about 3 months.
And my name is Anna, and I've been with Medtronic for almost 2.5 years. And I'll kind of be giving our intro, answering questions. And yeah, so once again, if you have questions, please post them in the chat and we will get to them. And if we can't answer them here, we'll find the answers for you. So we're going to launch a poll here that you should see on your screen. Thumbs up, Kyle, Laura, if you can see it. Perfect. So take some time to answer these 2 questions. In the last 30 days, on a scale of 1 to 10, how productive do you feel you have been? 10 is the most productive, 1 is the least productive. And then the second question, on a scale of 1 to 10, how stressed have you been? And stress and productivity looks different for everybody. We just kind of want to see where you're at. So how productive do you feel you've been? And how stressed have you been? Once again, 10 is the most, 1 is the least. Okay, we'll give about 15 more seconds here. I know it's hard to pick just a random number. All right, still have about 50 people to answer.
We're getting questions on how to move to the second question.
Oh.
Kyle answered it. We're good.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't know. All righty. I will end this and share the results with everybody. So people are feeling pretty productive, which is good. But at the same time, people are feeling pretty stressed. And so we hope that today you'll be able to find some of those tips and tricks to still feel productive in work, life, family, personal, all of those things, but to feel less stressed while doing it. So work-life balance, what does that mean? Like I said, it looks different for everybody. Here are a few definitions: the level of prioritization between personal and professional activities in your life, and the level to which those activities related to your job are present in the home. So how much can you differentiate personal and professional, which for a lot of people, it feels almost impossible right now, especially if you're still working from home or going into this hybrid model. And it's also the amount of time spent doing your job and the amount of time spent with family or doing the things you enjoy. So one of my quick tips for you is to think about the 4 quadrants of your life, and each day to have meaningful achievement in all 4 of those life quadrants. So you have work, family, friends, and self. So thinking to yourself how you can implement meaningful activities in all 4 of those areas every single day so that you can feel fulfilled and happy, productive, less stress. So if you think about your work, maybe like for me today is leading this webinar, and that's going to be a hopefully successful, meaningful achievement for me. And then family, I get to see my family tonight, and I'm seeing friends at an event I'm helping with. And then self is going to be relaxing after this webinar, have a nice cup of coffee. And so that is how I'm going to fulfill that today. And so think to yourself kind of what you have accomplished yet today and what you can maybe add in. And everyone's going to talk about different ways to achieve those meaningful activities every day.
Wonderful. Thank you, Anna. So I'll be talking about cultivating healthy boundaries at work. So we're going to be discussing 14 of them. So I'm going to go kind of rapid fire for time's sake. But again, this is being recorded and you can go back and watch the recording. And I did have a question if the recording will be sent out after the webinar. And yes, it will be for your disposal. And so today, let's start from the top. So we're going to identify our priorities. So prioritizing tasks to help distribute your time and energy while also being mindful of not overextending yourself. Learn to say no. I know a lot of people have trouble with this. Learning to say no to things that don't feed your mind, body, and soul. Prioritizing what you can say no to is going to be a difficult task, perhaps. But once you have established your priorities,
Wait, just a sec. I got to turn down this presentation.
Once you have established your priorities, it's important to exercise your ability to say no. Saying no is a powerful skill that helps you enforce your boundaries and keeps your goals a priority. All right, number 3, I was going to say number 2, but number 3, take time off. And I'll be discussing a little bit more in depth about this particular subject. But this could be taking a mental health day or an extended vacation. It can be discussing a little bit more on what that looks like for you. And again, I'll dive into a little bit more about what taking time off does for you, both your mind, body, and soul. Look for examples of professional boundaries. Reach out to a manager, supervisor, or coworker and ask them about the ways they maintain boundaries at work. This opens a conversation for you to communicate your own boundaries with your colleagues. Communicate clearly. It's important to be upfront about your boundaries if you want people to respect them. Some examples might include letting your team know that you are signed off at a certain time of the day every day, and that when you're out of the office or signed off for the day, that you won't be answering emails or calls unless it's an emergency. Okay, establish boundaries with coworkers. It's up to you on how much personal information you would like to share with coworkers. Don't be afraid to let others know that you prefer to stick to professional topics versus personal topics. Silence notifications. Now, this is a big one for me. Silence notifications at the end of the day so that emails and messages aren't interrupting your personal life, your personal time. Also, removing work applications from your phone or other devices will be beneficial as well. Create built-in breaks. Build your breaks into your digital calendar. Now that a lot of us are working remotely or at a hybrid style, it's really important to put in these little 5-10 minute breaks throughout your day. This will remind you to take a break every day, just a little bit away from the work to refocus and recenter yourself. Triage your tasks. Learn how to triage your tasks based on priority in order to stick to your schedule and your boundaries. Kyle will be discussing the Eisenhower matrix, if I can say it, which will help you prioritize tasks based on the urgency and importance. Don't skip breaks. Breaks when work give you a time to recover from work-related stress, which in turn boosts your performance and energy. I know that it's very hard. I've been getting a lot of messages from people saying they just cannot log off. They just cannot take that break. Working virtually. When we were all in person, it was easy to grab a cup of coffee or walk to the cafeteria. But now that we're at home, working from home mostly, it's hard to break during the day. So don't forget those breaks. Power down technology. This can be difficult, especially for remote workers, because work and technology are a constant presence. Pick a time to end work and stick to it every day. Also make sure that all technology is turned off for the night so you won't be tempted to send one more email. I am notorious for that late at night. Stick to your routine. In addition to starting and ending your day at the same time every day and implementing breaks, try establishing a transition activity into your routine before or after work. This could be a 15-minute mindful activity or meditation, or a 30-minute workout to relieve stress and re-energize. Try separating your workspace. Try creating space from separating between your workspace and your personal space, especially if you're at home. Designating your workspace apart from your home space, perhaps in a different room is where you do work. Or some of the recommendations is say have a particular corner and make kind of a curtain or a block off. So that's your workspace. That will help you separate physically and mentally at the end of the day. Turn off your camera. Another way to set a remote work boundary is to turn off your camera during virtual calls or meetings. So oftentimes, and you can have the professional backgrounds in the back for yourself. I know Medtronic has quite a few of those, and those are very nice. So, if your personal home is something that you would like to keep private, you can always opt out for the audio only, or again, some of those virtual backgrounds, as long as they're not distracting. All right, taking time off. Let's dive into a little bit of the benefits of taking time off. So taking time off, the positive effects of taking time off include increased productivity. Studies have found that chronic stress from work can make it difficult to achieve tasks and can cause memory difficulties. So by taking time off from work, you will be reducing stress, which can improve your cognitive and mental function. Renewed sense of energy that kind of goes with the increased productivity. I know that if I take just, a half day off of work, I revitalize, rejuvenate, and maybe do some self-care on myself, and I feel a great sense of energy. Promotes a healthy work-life balance. I know Anna will be talking a little bit about this as well, or we did hear a little bit that it's going to mean different for each individual. And so by finding that what works for you and by separating your work from your life, especially in this virtual world, you're going to be decreasing your stress and increasing your productivity. Prevents burnout. Burnout is a state of physical and emotional exhaustion and feelings of reduced professional ability. Burnout can result in more sick days, off from work, and reduce work performance. Improves physical health. Taking time off can lessen stress levels. Levels of high stress can contribute to increased risk of illnesses heart disease, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, you name it. Improves mental health. Neuroscientists have found that chronic exposure to stress can alter our brain structure, which can lead to anxiety and depression symptoms. Improved family relations. Studies have found that spouses who took vacations were more satisfied with their marriages. I said, sign me up, right? And so it doesn't have to be this large, extravagant vacation, even just a day away, even a staycation. And then increased happiness. Of course, this is pretty self-explanatory, but as you know, when our stress level goes down and we have those feel-good hormones, especially doing activities that we enjoy doing apart from work, is going to increase that happiness. So before we dive in here, I want you to put in the chat feature, maybe one or two of these 14 ways that you would like to implement cultivating a healthy work-life balance, or maybe something that you found interesting about vacation and taking time off. Taking time off more often, yes. Wow, a lot of feedback, great. Yes, not working on days off. Taking breaks. Perfect. We'll
And
give
I just
everyone-
saw a question here regarding physical space between work and life. What are your thoughts on wearing work clothes in daily life? Does that have the same mental effect? I mean, for me personally, I think some people could also attest to this, is every morning when I know I have a lot to get done throughout the day, I'll put on my work clothes. I guess for us, our work clothes is like athleisure, so it's a little more comfy. But I mean, there's a lot of science and research behind look good, feel good. And that if you dress up, if you get ready for work, maybe even just brush your hair, clear the makeup out from under your eyes, that mentally prepares you more for that work setting, especially if you don't have a commute.
Yes, I agree, Anna. And even so, even not relating to work, I know studies are finding that first-time moms who are suffering from postpartum, they recommend, getting up and showering and putting your makeup on, even if you're not going anywhere, and getting dressed like you're going to do something is going to help with that mental well-being. So yes, I agree.
And before we move on, thank you everyone for sharing. Keep posting your comments as well. We will, before we get to Kyle, I've got a quick activity for everybody. So take out a piece of paper, a Post-it note, open up OneNote on your computer, have some sort of paper, pen, phone note nearby. I'd like you to write down your top 5 priorities in your life currently. What are the 5 things that are taking up the most of your time? They don't have to be in any particular order. So for me, the 5 things that's taking up the most of my time would be work, this job, and then I also have another job that's I do on the side. It's a nonprofit. So that would be my second thing. Third would be family time. Fourth would probably be like cleaning and just keeping things organized. And then 5 would probably be like exercising. So write down your top 5 things that take up the most of your time. You have about 10 more seconds. Now, as you listen to some of the rest of the information that we're giving you today, I'd like you to think about how you would rearrange those priorities in your perfect world. Say maybe you're having some struggles within your family, or you're having struggles personally. Maybe that needs to be more of a priority than getting dinner with friends or something like that. So try to think throughout this time how you would rearrange your priorities in your perfect world and what that would look like. And hopefully some of these tips can help you put that into action, make your spiritual life more of a priority, or make your personal life or work, maybe your career, you need to be more of a priority right now. So just think about that as we move on to Kyle.
Thanks, Anna. Just so everyone knows, we are noticing the questions coming through chat. If we don't get to your question or just kind of miss through it with all the chat messages, we'll make sure to take the chat list down and answer your questions directly, maybe through email afterwards. But I get to talk to you about productivity and a couple methods. So we all at one point or another have wanted to be more productive, whether it be in our jobs or at our responsibilities and tasks at home. It can be very challenging with the unexpected. We may have tried things like wearing shoes in the house, going to a coffee shop to work, or even making a to-do list. They might work for a short period of time, or they just flop and we become more discouraged. I wish I had the secret recipe or a brand new innovative way to be more productive to give to you today. What I do have to share is a couple methods I stumbled upon when brainstorming topics for my portion of this webinar. These two different methods you may have heard of, tried, or currently use, but I understand that they might not work or fit everyone's job responsibilities or lifestyles. To preface, I'm not an expert in these methods by any means. I'm just like you, someone who wants to better organize my responsibilities and tasks in both work and at home to get more things done or achieve my goals, productivity. So since everyone is here to learn about productivity and to gain some takeaways, I encourage you to try one of these methods for a week or two, or at least do some light reading about the methods for more understanding. Since the topic could be an entire webinar itself, here is a snapshot of each method. So the first method, as Laura mentioned, was named after or deemed after the most productive president. So the Eisenhower matrix. Dwight D. Eisenhower was quoted, and it's somewhat of the mantra for this method: urgent matters are rarely important, and important matters are rarely urgent. This was one of the first methods that really stood out to me as a means to organize my tasks on the day-to-day. I'm a written to-do list kind of person, so seeing the usable resources on the internet, it looked like a fancy list with specific sections and prioritization. There are 4 quadrants that each represent tasks of urgency and importance. The first quadrant, priority 1, do first quadrant. These are tasks or things with clear deadlines and consequences for not taking immediate action, important and urgent. Things like covering a project for a colleague out sick, responding to certain emails, or picking up your sick kid from school. Spending too much time on these tasks or continually putting out fires may decrease your energy levels and passions for things you really want to focus on. It can also lead to increased stress levels, burnout, or simply drive you into mindless, time-consuming things that aren't productive. And that might be like social media. The second quadrant, the schedule it quadrant, is the sweet spot for personal time management. Individuals like Eisenhower who live in this quadrant are proactive and prioritize activities that grow their skills and energy. And they also contribute to accomplishing meaningful goals that they have. Things in quadrant 2 might be an exercise routine, learning a new skill, or strategic planning for a project. When you can keep yourself here, you start to better manage or decrease the number of unexpected problems that pop up in quadrant 1. Some things are inevitable, but as I learned, scheduling tasks can contribute to accomplishing meaningful goals. Moving into quadrant 3 is delegate. These are tasks that are urgent, but not necessarily important for you or move you closer to your long-term goals. So these items or tasks, can someone else do them for you? If your job or life doesn't allow for much delegation, be in control or set boundaries. Practice saying no Maybe discuss your workload with your boss that is more manageable yet still provides success. From the article, I love the sentence, "How can I automate my life?" The final quadrant, which are tasks that are not urgent and not important. This quadrant is called the delete it or don't do quadrant. Tasks in this quadrant might be watching TV for hours or mindlessly scrolling through social media. Our distractions that take up a large amount of time make zero progress toward our goals or personal growth. Now you might be thinking, those are all things that I like to do in my downtime. I thought the same thing, but as I came to understand a little bit better, it's not completely eliminating those things or tasks. It's being intentional about it. Moderation is okay, but if it becomes a habit, it will result in less work satisfaction overall. After reading through the article, I realized for myself that this might not be the best method for me. I don't feel like I'm putting out fires all day, or I'm not in a position to delegate work. I have to handle my tasks myself, or I have multiple endeavors I'm interested in doing. For a little glimpse, I want to balance work, exercise, and my hobbies, cooking, woodworking, and do-it-yourself projects. And then video games. I do like video games. So I stumbled upon another method of productivity used by Elon Musk and others. Time blocking. Time blocking divides your day into blocks of time so you can dedicate that chunk of time to a specific project or task and nothing else but that task. These blocks of time could vary from 60-minute increments to, like Elon Musk has been cited, 5-minute increments devoted to one specific task. What caught my attention the most and why I thought this method was right for me was a sentence in the article that said, instead of keeping an open-ended to-do list, like I said, I do to-do lists all the time, you'll get these to-do lists of things you'll get to as you're able to. Instead, start each day with a concrete schedule that lays out what you'll work on and when. This approach seemed more manageable and concrete for the things in work and in life that I want to do. If I get off task or distracted, maybe by an email I wasn't expecting that needs my immediate attention, once the unexpected task is completed, I simply look back at my schedule and get back to the scheduled task. There are 3 other variations of time blocking: task batching, day theming, and time boxing. All 4 can lead to focusing all of your mental resources on one task at a time versus several tasks revisited multiple times throughout the day, kind of like the picture on the slide right now. This brings you from shallow work, like processing your emails, to deep work, like programming or researching information on a specific problem. Task batching is when you group similar tasks together and schedule specific time blocks to complete all at once. The example given in the article was scheduling 2 20-minute blocks to process emails versus checking your inbox every 15 minutes. Other examples were things like invoicing, workouts, meetings, errands, or even meal preparation. Day theming is dedicating each day to a single theme. Monday might be training day. Tuesday is writing day. Wednesday, filming day if you create video content. Just kind of Sunday is family day. Each day of the week has an overall theme of tasks for you to complete. For those that like a consistent routine or pattern each day, this might be the variation for you. And time boxing. Time boxing seems similar to time blocking. The difference is more of a goal orientation within that task. As you can see on the slide, time blocking is designating the task of writing between the hours of 9 and 11 a.m. Whereas time boxing, you're intending to write 1,000 words from the hours of 9 to 11 a.m. Because you are setting a goal or limiting yourself, you work more efficiently because you have limited time to complete that task. Time blocking can give you a better sense of how you spend your time and help you be more intentional with how you spend your time as well. It can counteract perfectionism and help you follow through on your goals. Studies have shown that, that support the idea that concrete plans help people follow through on their intentions. So if you write down a specific place, date and time for, let's say, a flu shot, you are more likely to act on that intention. If you are someone like me who wants more follow through and tasks, follow through with tasks and more immediate completion of those tasks, time blocking or one of the variations might suit you. The article brought up a good question of, will time blocking work with my job? And it spoke to reactive jobs like someone in customer support. Cal Newport, who is the author of the book Deep Work, he said it very well. Periods of open-ended reactivity can be blocked off like any other type of obligation. Even if you're blocking most of your day for reactive work, for example, the fact that you're controlling your schedule will allow you to dedicate some small blocks to deeper pursuits. I really like this method. It allows me to take control of tasks, projects, and activities that I want to do throughout the day or throughout the week. I can focus on that one task for that period of time and really truly feel like I accomplished something, whether I completed it to its fullest extent or just a portion that is completed. It also helps me battle my procrastination against perfectionism. Yeah, I'm one of those culprits. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned before, I'm not an expert in either of these methods. I just started time blocking just a couple weeks ago myself, and I'm still working out the kinks and getting a good handle on it for myself. These are methods that I wanted to share with you, or at least maybe put on your radar. If something I said today sparked some interest, I encourage you to go into the slide deck when available and visit the links and read through the articles. Or if something that I said really resonated with you today, take it into action. I have made an Eisenhower matrix for you to download that is a fillable PDF, or you can simply print and handwrite things on that piece of paper. Productivity has its ebbs and flows, and there are many methods out there to combat that lack of productivity. Find something that works for you, stick with it for a couple weeks, and then reevaluate. That's it for my portion. I'm going to hand it over to Susie for her topic of stress reduction.
Thanks, Kyle. I absolutely loved all of those resources. Super cool. I get to talk about stress reduction today. I know there were a few people who kind of mentioned early on, threw a couple questions in there saying like when they take time off, they tend to come back more stressed because they have more things to do. And hopefully some of the things that Laura and Kyle shared can potentially set you up for success, like communicating better with coworkers or even time blocking your time when you come back. I have this much time to catch up on emails. I have this much time to catch up on those tasks. So hopefully you're able to use some of these. But real quick, I wanted to define self-care. Couple keywords I wanted to focus on is the practice of taking action. Practice in both of these definitions is something that's not perfected. Practice, you have to do it multiple times, often as you can. So there's no perfect way to take care of yourself. The first definition is to preserve or improve your own health. So for example, myself, I've been having to take care of my asthma and my allergies a lot more this summer. And so it's me actually having to take action, setting the 6-week appointments. That's me taking action, taking care of my own health. That second definition is taking an active role in protecting your own well-being and your happiness. So that takes a little bit more of that mental side as opposed to like your physical health, but also taking that active role, practicing and protecting your well-being and happiness. So I've got a lot of examples of all of the things that Kyle and Laura kind of shared. So there's just a little bit more kind of take it and act with it situations. We have meditation breaks, flex breaks, or making an activity break throughout your day. I know Laura mentioned taking breaks, making sure you're having time to create that space. We have 15-minute meditation breaks with Laura live every Tuesday and Thursday. When you get the slide deck, you'll be able to click that and it'll bring you to the appointment that you can add to your calendar. And then we have will sessions that's available through Healthier Together. And those sessions are anywhere from 1 minute to 20 minutes. It can be quick. You can use it real quick and then get right back to work. Flex breaks are stretch breaks. You can schedule it into your meeting. You can reach out to any of us to schedule any flex breaks during a meeting. Maybe it's an opener for a meeting. Maybe it's at the middle of the meeting. Or you can join live flex breaks with Kyle 4 times a week. They're 15 minutes. Get to stretch, stand up, move a little bit, a couple times in the morning, a couple times in the afternoon. So making sure that those get on your calendar by clicking that link as well. Otherwise, on our YouTube channel, we also have a couple options. If you can't make it to either of those times, that has a lot of resources there as well. Laura talked about kind of creating space at the beginning of the day, at the end of the day, that transition time, and your walking or activity breaks are a really great option for that. Not only walking, but it can also be a fitness class. We do live fitness classes over the lunch hour if you're in the central time zone. Otherwise, you can always use pre-recorded classes or classes that happened earlier and use that as your lunchtime hour before or after work as well. Finally, the monthly fitness challenge is created to be a quick break for you. Ideally, when we create those, they are either 30-day, 4-week challenges to some degree, and they're something to get you moving for less than 10 minutes a day. So it's quick, easy, get it done, and something that you can use just as a break. Yeah. Our next slide is all about mood boosters. So anything to kind of get your mood boosted, I suppose, if we're being realistic. Journaling is one of my favorite things to kind of boost my mood. I tend to kind of hold things in a lot. And so when I get to journal, it's when I get to vent, and I usually feel better. You can do a lot of different styles of journaling, like a reflective daily journal, a weekly journal. I also have a Q&A journal, and it's 365 questions, and you answer one question every single day for 5 years in a row. So I've had this journal for probably 4 years now. And so every September 23rd, I've answered the exact same questions, and I can see how over the past 5 years, things have changed for me. It's kind of cool. Also a really cool option there. Talking with a professional, the Medtronic EAP program has a lot of confidential services that you can use. Otherwise, finding a provider within your insurance is really, really important. You don't have to be quote unquote sick to talk to a professional. It can just be needing someone to talk to, someone to vent to, someone to be like, you know what, my kids, it's really, really important to have that kind of non-biased person to kind of work through things with, to talk through things with, and they are schooled to help you in a way that is best for yourself, to kind of put yourself first there. Finishing or shortening your to-do list. Kyle mentioned this with the Eisenhower model, as well as with that blocking model. Really, really important. I'm not going to go into it too much because he's already covered a majority of that. And then this part is something that I'm a little bit passionate about, though, like affirmation statements. Not necessarily just like the I am statements. I am positive. I am a good leader. I am connected. I am happy. Those are really great and really great, especially if you have them like on your mirrors, wherever it may be. But those don't always resonate well with me. Sometimes I'm not feeling happy. And so if I have to read something that says, I am happy, I'm like, no, I'm not. So I found something called what if statements. And this kind of allows you to take half a step back and say, what if I am happy? What does happy look like for you? What do you have to do to make yourself happy? And then maybe trying to take half a step towards happiness that day. What if I am confident? What if I am able to control my day? What do you have to do to make that happen? So that what if statement allows for a lot of room, a lot of growth for kind of reflection. And I just love the what if statement. So if you have tried the I am statements and you're like, meh, doesn't work for me, try the what if statements. Think about it, reflect on it, and try and use those. Throw them up on the mirror, throw them in your phone as a sticker, something along those lines. And then just a quick addition to what Laura mentioned about taking a break, taking vacation, taking PTO. I just wanted to mention that like a mental health day doesn't have to be just like sitting and like zenning out. It can be catching up on chores around the house. It can be running errands around the neighborhood, whatever it may be. It can be sitting down in a park and reading all day. It really is whatever is going to fill your bucket for that day. Sometimes you just need a break. So I just wanted to make sure that you know there's no perfect way to take a mental health day. It really is all up to you.
Awesome. So thank you, Kyle, Laura, and Susie for all that awesome information. We have listed out all of our certifications, our contact information. We all offer one-on-one health coaching and different topics. So if you are interested in some more accountability, feel free to reach out to any of us, and hopefully we got some time on our schedule and we can meet with you. And then also linked on this slide, once you get the slide deck, you'll be able to click on it, is our Yammer community, as well as our YouTube channel. So if you have not done so already, please join the Yammer community. That's probably how you found out about this invite. And then subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. We have a whole host of resources. We have over 800 uploaded videos, all for you on demand. And then lastly, I'm going to try, you can't click on this. I was going to copy the link and I forgot, so I can't do it. But after, when you have the slide deck sent out to you, please click on this link so you can get 500 Healthier Together points. So it's a super easy form. You literally just type in your employee ID and we will get you some points. So afterwards, I'll send this slide deck out to all attendees, and then it'll also be uploaded to our Yammer community. And then we'll post the recording to our YouTube channel as well. I'll make sure the link is available so that you can get those points. Now, do we have any questions that we'll try to answer? There are also all of the links for everything that we've mentioned here today, and additional resources are linked on this last page. The recording will be sent out once it's available, and we also upload all of our recordings to our YouTube channel so that you can watch it on demand, pause and play and all of that. I typically get the recording in the afternoon, so sometime today you'll get it. Some people are asking what the points are, so that's a great question. So if you're not familiar, Healthier Together is our wellness platform for Medtronic. It's open to all employees and spouses. If you're a contractor, unfortunately, you are not eligible for Healthier Together, but you can still utilize the Yammer community and the YouTube channel. So the points are how you can potentially earn recognized points to cash in your recognized points in the store. Someone said, I noticed that the majority of attendees are women. Are we more stressed than men? Are we more active in trying to improve our stress level? I think it's both, but that's just because my team is majority all women. So, but just kidding. Yeah, I think it just depends. I think everyone is really trying to do the best we can in the world that we're living in right now. So really want to congratulate all of you for taking this time for yourself and trying to make your lives feel better. And we hope you had some useful takeaways. Yes, definitely taking care of yourself, super important. So we will download the chat transcript, and questions that we didn't get to, we will send you a direct email. Maybe I'll put together a Q&A of all the questions that were asked, and we'll type them out and share that with you as well. All righty, so that concludes today's webinar. Thank you all so much. We will be having another webinar in the third Thursday of October, and I'll send out the invite when I share the slide deck. Thank you, everybody.
Bye, and thank you so much. You were great.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yes. Bye.
Thank you.